Welcome back everyone to Pontus Fathom Hobbies. This is our Season 1 Twilight Imperium 3rd Edition gameplay, and we are, if you can imagine, on part 4 of the setup. Yes, we've actually broken out the setup into 4 videos, but I'm just realizing there's a few more setup tasks that I've done, and I kind of wanted to capture them. I know last time I said we were ready for round 1. Let me show you where I got to in the setup, and then I promise next turn is the first start. So what I'll do is I'm going to jump into a little more of the backstory of the game, and then I think I will save the individual characters' stories for their turns. So I'll kick off each turn. I'll read one of our 6 races so you guys kind of get the background story. Before we start with the last setup round, quick shout out to Pontus Fathom Press, our sister channel. Book 2 and Book 1 of the 2-book Quantum Locksman Saga, Dead Sons 11, Locksman of Quanta. This is a epic sci-fi at the end of time, and helps to support the channel. If you check out the bookstore links below, this is how we make the power system, the warp drive for this channel. Also, your comments are appreciated. I'm a noob at Twilight Imperium. You will be walking through this game with me for the first time before I get in front of other people and play it. So comments are appreciated. Let me know what I did wrong, and then I can maybe do a follow-up video to this series, and I'll shout out to you. Also, like and subscribe and ring the bell. Watch these videos all the way through. I'm making the videos, trying to make them a little bit shorter so we can get that algorithm hit with YouTube. Looking to grow the channel to 1,000 users this year, so really appreciate your guys' help. Okay, so last setup, we got all of our counters and trade contracts placed on each character area. My real estate's tight, so I've kind of got this going diagonally here. We've also got the common area set up our action cards, political cards, and our sort of NPC planets here. I have to flip this track to the main game, and I've got a control counter for each of our houses, each of our factions, each of our races, alien factions. I will put those on 0. Start. And then just a couple other things we have to get through. So let's jump into a little bit more of the backstory. I just came off of watching. This has been a long time coming. This Twilight Imperium gameplay, and I did have this idea. I've seen out on the internets some fantastic paint throughs of some of these ships, and I wanted to kind of do a massive paint through before I jumped into gameplay. You can see these minis. They're quite small minis, but if you guys saw my Battlestar Galactica minis paint through, I'm really thinking of doing sort of an airbrush with some realistic spaceship type colors, and then maybe highlight them in a way that I can get the major colors, maybe 2 colors from each kind of faction, and then you'll be able to swap them out pretty easily. So I figure if I have a highlight color, another one, there's probably a combination to do that. But I figure use like metallic tones and use some dark tone, gray, gunmetal blacks, NATO blacks, silvers, even whites. Kind of use that kind of range of sci-fi ship colors, and then accent them, maybe dry brush them or accent them with some kind of pattern or a spray pattern. So yeah, if you guys are interested in that, leave a comment below. Maybe I'll put that out on the make that a Patreon request, and you can check out our Patreon below. So let's jump more into the backstory, and then we're going to get to wrapping up the setup. Okay, so last time we were hearing about the past, the people of Winaris. It is told that the Lazak emperors arose from the ashes of the Ma'at kings. Little is known of their early ascension, but it is impossible to deny that the Lazak must have been profoundly intelligent, benevolent, and wise people. After their prehistoric rise to power. We know that they chose to control the planet of Mechatol Rex. Here's Mechatol Rex. The year that the Lazak first arrived on Mechatol Rex is recorded in the imperial calendar as first and marks the beginning of my account. For untold ages, the Lazak ruled the known galaxy, and as new races came into contact with the Empire, they would be allowed to join the Galactic Council that represented the needs and voices of the empires. The great races, the Zaksha, the Hakan, the Letnev, the Hylar, the Sol, the Nor, were all represented in the council during the last of the Lazak Empire. And yet, as the years passed, discoveries of new races and planetary systems began to slow. Little by little, the mood of the Empire changed as technological and intellectual growth began to diminish. And their need for advancement, the great races began instead to look for power of the Lazak and the resources of their neighbors. Greed and ambition slowly grew in the hearts of statesmen and counselors. The spirit of the Empire turned suspicious and fearful. It is during this time that the first conflicts between the great races are recorded in the Imperial Chronicle. The Galactic Council became a seedbed of intrigue, ushering in the era of spies and assassins. First in secret, later in public, the great races began at this time to build their military capabilities. Many started territorial expansions that extended beyond the original charter. Border strife and resource disputes became so prolific, gnawing at the very foundations of the empire. This was a time of growing darkness that is now known as the Age of Dusk. Okay, wow. So the empire is kind of in a bit of a entering into a kind of a Cold War era. The spirit of technology. This is sort of like that difference between. This reminds me of the difference between the TNG world, which sort of carried on. Like the original Star Trek was kind of like a adventure western, right? Then TNG kind of showed us what some kind of utopia was. Then by Deep Space Nine, we kind of got into that with the Cold War of the Bajorans versus the Cardassians. So you kind of have that kind of empire creeping in. I guess we always had it with the Romulans and the Klingons. There was a kind of detente there, but yeah, cool. So let's mark our place there, and then we can jump back in the next turn. A couple of things I wanted to do now was go through the initial placements of things. So we've got our control markers and command counters placed. We've got our trade contracts. We have we've got our technology decks, and we have to place a technology card for each one, which we can reveal on turn 1. The other thing is place the remaining planet cards on this in the common play area. So we've got the cards here. Place all trade counters in a single pile in trade supply. Got that. Place 8 strategy cards. We got the 8 strategy cards. We will turn them to active on turn 1. Create the objective deck. Done. Place the victory points track with the counters on 0. Done. Mark players must now create the board game. Done. After the Galaxy's Brigade, all players place their setup units as indicated on their race sheets. Okay, so let's see. So we can place our starting units and starting technology. So let's start out up here in the. We can start out with the Emirates of Hakan because it's closest to me, and our starting technology is. Well, let's kind of go through this. So we can take this off the board. I think we get the gist of it. We can start out with, so we have 3 planets, and it says that we can place those as we want to. So we also have to start out with our starting technologies. So I'll reveal those after, but let's kind of go through this and say, yeah, so starting technologies for them are, I guess I have to go through the deck to find these. So we have Sorrowing Tools and this is the last one here. Enviro compensators. So our starting technology for Hakan is Sorrowing Tools and Enviro compensators. I guess we have to claim our own planets. So we'll go ahead and do that. Next up here is the Sardak Nor. Their starting technology is Mark 5. So they get the Type 5. Type 5 what? Oh, Hylar 5 assault laser. Right? And then they have the deep space cannon. So that's their tech. Let's put these on theirs. Deep space cannon. Sorrowing Tools. Okay, next up we've got the, let's go back down to the Federation of Soul, because they're right here. They start out with cybernetics. I think this just gives me a chance to kind of flip through all these and understand here. So they get cybernetics, and they also get advanced anti-mass deflectors. That's the anti-mass deflectors for them. So we can place these here. Okay, next up is the barony. Let's just run over here for a moment. So we just reach their barony of Letnev. They start out with assault lasers and antimatter deflectors also. Anti-mass deflectors and Hylar 5 assault lasers. And it's their homeworld Rentera. Okay, so I think that we also can place, let's place this on Letnev. Place that in orbit there. We can put the book in the middle for now. Let's also place the Sol space station here. Let's place the Sardak Nor. Space station here. Let's get a... I think for now, let's just place a cruiser here. And for Sol, we have it. Next up, we'll go to our Mentax Coalition. They also start with assault cannons, assault lasers, sorry, and enviro compensators. Put them here, and then finally we can we'll place their space station as well here, Mentax Coalition, and then finally let's grab the Nalu Collective. They get anti-mass deflectors, and they get enviro compensators. Okay, you can go through those. Super. And let's place their first thing I'm gonna have to check out is, do we have to put a claim on our planets? I think we do, so I'll go and check that rule. But other than that, now I think that we are actually just about ready to play. So thanks a lot for watching, guys. Getting through these 4 massive setup videos. Leave your comments below. I will go and double check everything else before we start, and then let's jump into turn number 1. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.